Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Transformation Leaders Podcast. My name is David Soden. I'm joined today, as usual, my best friend here, Sean Ennis, and we are the partners in crime for transformation, giving you the information that you need each and every week to evolve your business into whatever future state you're looking to achieve. And Sean's got something pretty interesting, especially if you're in the telco side of things. Another interesting problem has evolved. As usual, Sean's uncovered it and has a great presentation to kind of unpack all of this for you. Sean?
Appreciate that, David. So some of you are telco, some of you are not, but I'm sure everybody out there knows about 5G. A whole bunch of money has been spent to build out 5G infrastructure. And I don't know about you, but there hasn't been much of a difference in my experience as a wireless user with 5G over 4G. And there's a reason for that. And one of the reasons is that the software that is running and maintaining the infrastructure is now like 20 years older than the hardware that it manages. And so a lot of the things that people were hoping 5G to be able to do, which is called slicing, is be able to do ephemeral services. Now, ephemeral is a wonderful word because it makes me sound so smart. But ephemeral just means that a service that can be turned up really quickly and won't last very long. So this is a project that my company was involved with that is at the third week of June. They are demonstrating this live in Copenhagen at the TMF DTW Ignite conference in Copenhagen. So right now, you won't be able to see this live, but if you click on the URL that I'll show you at the end of this, you'll be able to see it live on YouTube if you wanted to, and read more about it with a white paper that was done. So let me jump in and give you the high point, which is that $127 billion. So telcos are losing out on a huge opportunity of being able to do more connectivity-based services at the edge. They funded all of this wireless infrastructure to support this thing, and they haven't sold it. And the reason why is because they asked the people, okay, when can we support this? They asked the software people, and the software people says, no, it's not there yet. So they have all this technology. All they're lacking is the management tools underneath. And so here is example of 3 ephemeral services. Now, I know we have all probably been to a stadium to watch a concert, or maybe listen to a comedian, or seen a football game, baseball game. Right now, World Cup's going on. So all these people located at a stadium means that additional capacity needs to be spun up for the duration of that game, but it's not necessary afterwards. So there's a very short period of time where performance needs to be boosted. And that's what this technology is all about. They designed their networks to support it, but the software doesn't have any capability of monitoring, managing it, and monetizing it. The use case that I'm going to be showing here, and what we showed as our case study with BT, if you're familiar with British Telecom, is drone surveillance. So they're partnering up with drone companies to sell an automated drone surveillance system where it will go out and dispatch a drone, collect surveillance information, looking for detection. If you're familiar with Ring doorbells, right, where when someone comes within the camera, an alert will shoot off. Think of it that, except the Ring doorbell is on a drone that is going to go around everywhere in a physical location. In this case, it is a commercial shipping port in Cape Canaveral is the use case that I'll show you. They did it in Belfast. BT did. And then this is going to be much more common in the future, which is, if we all believe in Elon Musk and the Silicon Valley experts, we're going to have a lot of autonomous vehicle services that are going to be required. So just imagine, if you will, your Tesla is driving you through bumper-to-bumper traffic, right? And it loses connectivity and doesn't know where to go. And there are 1,000 other cars stuck in traffic with you that can't go anywhere. Can you imagine the situation that you're going to be in if that's the case? I don't know about you, but I have been in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and my cell phone did not work because there was just too many people around. So this is going to be affecting everyone, and telcos need to jump on this, because if they don't solve this problem, other people will. Remember I mentioned Elon Musk? They just happen to have a IPO recently. I would not be surprised if Starlink acquires a terrestrial network in the future. So, that gives you some of the big side of things, and, let me talk about individually what this problem kind of dwells into. So let me jump right into, these are the partners that I'm working with at the Ignite Catalyst. And again, they're there in Copenhagen right now showing all this off. Our part is really the observability part, but high quality SI, CGI, the BSS vendor here is Wavelo. They have a great product for billing. They do a lot of NVNO kind of work. And then BT Group, gigantic tier 1 provider with all kinds of use cases. But here is the perfect example. So this is the kind of service that you're going to have. You're going to have 3 sites, 113 devices, and you have FLIR cameras, Cisco switches, Fujitsu antennas, Percepto drones. This is not your typical network that telcos are familiar with, but they're going to have to be familiar with it, because this is where value is being created anymore. There's not much value in a T1 anymore. I don't know anybody who has a DS3 anymore, right? 10 gig links are a bit of a yawn at this point. I got 2.5 gig to the home in fiber. So, what the future of value is going to be at the edge with these kind of solutions. And they're going to be much more commercial solutions. And to be able to do them, you'll have to have topology where, there's going to be some drones that are active. There's going to be some drones that are not. More importantly, they're going to move. Can you imagine talking to a telco saying, your topology and your devices are going to be dynamically moving? Most OSS BSS out there have no capability of handling dynamic infrastructure. So, that's the first big problem with this. David, does that make sense?
It does.
So the next is It doesn't matter how awesome your services are if you're not billing. I think I've said this at least 3 times on the last 5 podcasts. No bucks, no buck Rogers. So you need to know what the service is, who's paying for it, what are the SLAs, so that you can make sure that at the end of the rainbow of this service, that it is billed properly so that the customer has to pay. If you're doing work and people aren't paying, you're not going to be doing work for long. And again, here's another example where most OSS BSS software do not have the capability in telcos to deal with billable services that are stood up and destroyed in less than 24 hours. I remember hearing from a customer that their turn-up SLA, and this was just a couple months back, they said their turn-up SLA was 3 days. So that just means that they would be unable to provide these new services as is. And that's the kind of point that we're trying to make with this case study, is that if your telco cannot achieve these kind of timelines, they're going to be left behind. And left behind means people being laid off. This means being acquired, cut up, put together, and an investment bank is going to be making the executive decisions about your telco in the recent future. The next is geospatial, right? Where are these? What's going on? So when somebody calls up and says, hey, we had a drone that went missing. Well, you need to want to be able to see where was it last at. And you don't want to pull back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines of logs. You just want to look at a Google Maps view. And Rapix actually provides that with you. You can see it's got the geospatial location and it's got the last addressable location. So maybe it fell down in a field in the middle of nowhere, and you need to give that address and geospatial coordinates to somebody to go find the drone after it failed. I know this is weird. When I talk to telcos, this is like, Sean, this is the future. No, it's not the future. It's the present. People are paying for these services right now. They're looking for autonomous offerings like drones, like IoT devices, to be able to expand their portfolio and get new customers and avoid what telcos have been afraid of the last 20 years of just being the pipe. If you're the pipe, you're a utility, and the profitability of just power companies means that you're going to become a utility, and you're probably going to be owned by a government entity. So a lot of this is people looking to try to avoid it. They spent trillions of dollars worldwide to build out 5G to be able to support these type of services.
Just out of curiosity, I'm looking at your map here, and I see like a kind of a spoken hub topology with this. Does it show the progression of like time series? Say, for example, somebody wants to go or know from, I don't know, let's just say whatever the time is right now, 11:31, and I want to see its progression for the past 30 minutes. Does it show me, or can it do it on the map that shows me where it started, where it stopped in your drone example?
Correct. And every minute, the drone is uploading its data, right? And that's going to be battery information. Like, hey, this is how much time I've got left on my battery. This is how much left of my mission that I've been sent to do. This is how many incidents that I have detected en route. This is my latitude and longitude. And they pull that latitude and longitude from the antennas that are deployed at the site. So you can see all the different camera locations. It looks like a spoken hub, but those are cameras. Those are fixed cameras at a port. Those are all part of it. So you have static detection in those FLIR cameras, and then you have drones that their job is, if somebody knows where those static locations are, they will not know where the drone's flying, because the drone is going to have a dynamically created search pattern. So it is completely impossible to avoid the cameras and the drones. And then if the drone's doing a regular 1080p camera surveillance were to detect something, it will dispatch a 4K that can be aloft for like 2 hours while it's calling the police and security people to come, so that you have all the documentation, all the camera information for any kind of prosecution or lawsuits. This is the future of security of large sites, and BT is really driving this in Europe. We haven't found a partner in the United States who is going through and offering this from a telco perspective, but I assume after this show, we're going to have quite a few of them line up to be able to support these kind of things.
I don't know if this is your intention in creating this, but if I'm a CEO or a COO or even a board member of a US-based telco, or even globally, I guess this applies to anybody globally, companies are always looking to increase revenue or increase revenue by different revenue streams. And it almost feels like whatever is of yesteryear, this software opens up at the potential for multiple new revenue streams and services that are typically or atypically anything to do with what you would think the telco would provide. What's stopping them from launching, for example, a drone service of their own to say, hey, listen, we've got the hardware, we've got the technology, others can provide the service, but we also now are providing a service there. So spinning up a bunch of subsidiaries, I don't know, that's a little bit more of the business side, but it just seems that there is a way to diversify their revenue streams with this type of software. They're no longer just a telco. Their capabilities have completely exploded. So whether they're offering it to third parties like that are already in the space, or whether they want to now play and compete with, it seems like the door is wide open. So very interesting.
And that was the intention. That's why trillions of dollars were given to Nokia, Ericsson, Fujitsu, Huawei, ZTE, all of these wireless companies that make this equipment stole the telcos worldwide. They'll be able to do this. And the problem is they didn't sell them the software that could do it. And so that is the big gap that Rapix is filling, and showing that we're filling in a live demonstration. And again, if you have a TMF membership, you should be able to go through and watch all the material on this catalyst. And certainly at the end of this, I'll share a QR code that will allow you to be able to jump into and watch it live in a YouTube stream that I published earlier, as well as read details about how this was accomplished and why it was so important. So again, 4 tricks that I showed that Rapix does to solve this problem that other people don't do. And so what the synthesis of that was to be able to do mission scoped root cause. So if there was a problem, for example, all of a sudden everything stopped working, the drone can't be reached. Well, it can look at it and say, okay, you were running out of battery time, right? It had a wind resistance of so-and-so. So the root cause was there was too much wind it ran out of battery. We need to reprogram the drones so that in these kind of scenarios, we can correlate that there's going to be a failure and tell the drone to return to base, or at least find the closest area where it can land and a human can retrieve it without trying to fish it out of the bay, right? You know, this means that with those 4 capabilities I talked about, you can do things like RCA. You know, you could go through and initiate a service in less than 5 seconds, right? A mission can be created. A customer can say, wait, I'm worried something is going on. Dispatch now. That service will be created. It will be completely monitored. If anything's wrong, it can get to a root cause and get back to that customer immediately. We can't dispatch because all the drones, the batteries are dead. You're just going to have to wait 30 minutes for everything to charge up before you can dispatch another drone. Or, you know, hit this button and then we will ship you 5 more drones so you don't have this problem in the future, right? And then that provision to revenue, so you can immediately bill them. As soon as they say dispatch this, you could create an invoice, push it out to them, they have to pay. And everything is automated. This is the future of these services. Telcos have been very reluctant to do these because they're high number of transactions, they're low amounts of revenue. But when you add them up, the margins are much, much higher as long as you can automate. And that is really the lesson of what we did here, is when you have the power to automate, you have a competitive differentiator in the marketplace. If you have the infrastructure to do it and the automation to do it efficiently, you have a market capability that no one else does. And the telcos who are embracing that and understanding the opportunities that they have are the ones who are going to succeed in the future. And the ones who do not are going to be acquisition targets. So, see the Catalyst demo. You could book a 30-minute walkthrough if you want to see it live. It's still up and running. I can show people this. I always tell people, if they think, okay, we should be able to do this, we paid to do this, why can't we do this? Talk to your OSS provider and ask them, can your catalog instantiate an SLA-backed service that lasts only 18 minutes? Can you correlate root cause on a mission context in less than 30 seconds? Does your topology view update geographically in real time? If they say we're working on it, that just means no, right? And these OSS providers, these legacy OSS providers, have been saying we're getting there for 10 years now. You need to talk to somebody who can do it now, not in their theoretically 18-month time frame that they keep telling you. If they say it'll be there in 18 months, and then you wait 18 months and they say it'll be there in 18 months, you know, this track record is quite clear. You should talk to a provider who can actually deliver. So speaking of that, I want to add this to the stage so that you can see this QR code. If you were to click this, it'll go to a landing page. You put your contact information in, and you'll be able to download the white paper and watch the YouTube video of the demo. But always, you can hit me up on mycal.com/Sean-Ennis, or just hit me up on LinkedIn.
That's excellent. I definitely might even reach out to you personally, because I'd love to see that demo. It really sounds cool and interesting how and what you've done there. maybe if we get enough interest, maybe that could be something for a future show. Just kind of walk everybody through a demo live. That would be kind of interesting to see. Well, as always, Sean's come up with another solution to another problem plaguing the industry. Sean and I have been doing a lot of this stuff for a very long time. So, you know, we take our expertise, we take all of that history and working with customers and clients, coming up with solutions to solve modern day problems. Unfortunately, when you do this long enough, it's really the same type of problem, same type of solution, meaning in the pattern. And so it's really easy for Sean and I to come up with these types of fixes and stuff. So congratulations, Sean. Excellent job once again. Well, for this week, that is all we have for you in stock. But every Wednesday, we're here live talking about whatever the challenge or flavor of the week might be that either one of us have come up with. We also encourage each of you. We're starting to get more and more inquiries where folks have solutions that they've built that they're talking about, or maybe they want to promote their company and have a conversation about what problems they're trying to solve. So we would love to hear from each and every one of you. If you go to the transformationleaderspodcast.com's website, which is on the screen right now, you should be able to go there, click on contact us, and fill out the form, and both Sean and I get it. Either Sean and or I will get back to you on that. Otherwise, follow the link to each of our profiles on LinkedIn, reach out, send a DM, whatever you need to talk about, that's fine. And we'll schedule something in the future. But again, every Wednesday, 12 o'clock noon. That's all we have time for you today. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.